The excitement of a new season is always there, regardless of what happens. As a coach, when you look at a good start, do you look at 10 games? Is it 5 games? What's the number that can give you a good start?
I don't think there's a specific number. Obviously, the first game is really important, but I don't know. We've got our segments that we've established, and I guess we'll look at that first segment, but I don't know if there's a certain number.
Now, your segments, some coaches go 7 games. Do you have a number of segments that you break it down into?
We're doing the same things we did last year. We did 8 games, and we figured 8 games, 5-3. That was the goal last year, to put us in a position to make playoffs. This year, 5-3 would put us in about 50 wins, and typically there's probably 5 teams that make that 50 win mark, and so that's kind of our goals this year.
You've been rotating Matthias Janmark and Jeff Skinner on that second line left wing spot. Is there any idea of who we can expect on that line tonight?
Probably a little bit of both. We're not going to be set in stone any certain night, but tonight Skinner will be playing with Leon.
Travis Dermott signing with the team, I believe it was yesterday. What have you seen from his game, and how often do you see him coming into the lineup this season?
Well, that'll be dictated on how well he's playing, and he's performed very well, and we'll see how he fits in with the team, and most likely his partner, whether that's Stetcher or Dermott playing with Kulak, how will they play together. But I think he'll be playing regularly. Probably the guideline would be 50% of the games, and if he's playing really well or poorly, or Stetcher's playing really well, they'll dictate how many games he'll play.
Real strength of your team when you were at your best was your penalty kill. There's obviously been some changes. How are you feeling about it, and how are the different pieces fitting, you think?
Yeah, we've made a big transition, especially on the right side defense, and then also the forwards, losing some key guys that were part of it last year. But the guys that we feel are taking ownership or moving into those roles are really excited about it. We've got other guys that we could rely on that killed last year a little bit for us in a secondary role. And right now, with the guys, how they performed, Arvidsson, Potkols, and those two being new players into the mix, I think they've done really well, and we've got backups that we can use, but right now I don't think we have to go to that.
Morning, Kris. Morning, Kris. I'm not sure. You got me? Okay, sorry about that, guys. You talked about the 8-game segments. When you came in last year in November, you implemented that right away. How do you feel like that helps a team?
I think it just lets them look at the present, the now, not looking at the end of the season, and obviously the goal of playoffs and Stanley Cup and all that. But, before you can get to any of that, you need to be winning the game in the present moment. And, sometimes you look at just one game, and sometimes you play outstanding and lose it, or vice versa. But if you break it into a segment, you're looking at 2, possibly 3 weeks, it gives you a pretty good indication of how you're playing. And I think it's important for our players to look at how they're performing in a short span and making adjustments through that time, whether we got to score more goals or defense has to get better, whatever it is. But I think it's important for our players to look at the here and now.
Who gets in tonight, Stetcher or Dermott?
Travis will play first game.
So we know your team looks like when it's got its defensive chops, when everyone's working together here. In the preseason, your lineups, guys aren't playing many games. I guess my question is, how close, or how far away are you as a team from that level of defensive team play that you're going to want to see at some point? Are you anywhere near it coming out of preseason, or can you be?
I think every game you have good games and bad games, and to say that you are dialed in on your defensive details in game one compared to heading into there's a lot of things that need to be improved, and that goes for all our our parts of our games. We've had a lot of meetings and we've had practices and certain drills to work on, whether that's face-offs, defensive zone coverage, offensive play. And throughout the season, it's a long season. You've got 82 games and many practices, many video sessions, and constantly you're always reminding the players, practicing those things to get better. So not only one player knows what he's doing, but also what the other players on the ice know what that player is doing. And the more familiar they are with that, you're building your game. And, it's only been exhibition and we've been building our game. So, we'll find out where we need to build our game going forward. And we're always going to be building, but you ultimately have to make priorities on what needs to be addressed. And after game one, maybe it's our defensive zone coverage, maybe it's offense, maybe it's not going to the net, maybe it's our face-off responsibilities. I don't know, but there'll be always things that we need to work on.